Hello, Flameborn! Planting and harvesting plants must be one of the most rewarding things in Enshrouded, and a big progression step that makes certain resources early on more accessible and provide you with a steady supply of food that will boost your attributes. But it can also be a very tedious task. Can you play the game without gardening? Absolutely. But will it drive you crazy? Yes, just as much. Ask me about it because I usually avoid anything repetitive and seek out for adventure instead, and then I realize I hit a brick wall. Farming can be started extremely early with shortcuts. While the gardening might be more efficient in the later game and provide more benefits than in the very beginning, getting a garden going at all is better than not having one. The production of saplings and seedlings happen while you are out exploring, and all you really have to do is just reap your rewards once you're back. I'll show you how this works, and then also I'll show you how strong it can be in the late game. There are basically only a few essential things that you need to get started to farm. Water, the beginner area has a well fortunately, and the farmer NPC Emily to craft seed beds. These are needed to produce the saplings and seedlings that you can plant. Now you see, the seed beds require farm soil, and for that you need the alchemist with a grindstone to make the bone meal. Technically, yes. But here's where we do the shortcut. The first time the game shows you the concept of farming in the Peaceful Acres at enemy level 3, so really early on, it will show you corn growing on a field. The corn is standing on patches of different colored soil, and this is your farm soil. Use your pickaxe and simply dig out all the farm soil that you can get. The game will reset the area within 30 minutes after you left, so you can repeat this process over and over again. To make the seed beds, you need wood logs, metal scraps, and the farm soil. Metal scraps are easy to get because by the time you explore the surroundings, you should have run into the scavengers already, and killing them and destroying their boxes and storages will provide you with metal scraps. It's also worth doing the spire beforehand because destroying all of the storage vessels in the spire will give you bone meal and metal scraps en masse as well. Without the alchemist at hand, you can still do a few recipes in the seed beds that will help you. Basic vegetables like corn and tomatoes once you found and picked them, shrubs and trees as well. They all either need no additions, water or water and farm soil, everything within your reach. And this is already a big step that you can clear up some resource caps and actually save you some time. But what can you actually farm when? Early on, not that much. Shrubs, trees, mushrooms, and then vegetables and flowers that you will find. So it's important to pick them all up when you see them. And then the game unlocks the recipes in the seedbed for you. For later game seedling recipes, you will need to find Emily's Almanac of Plants and Seedlings. This is a quest you will get for her when following the NPC quest. Sometimes the NPC quests require that you finish another quest before, but by the time the Almanac quest pops up, you will anyway have all of the NPCs in your base. The secret in the efficiency of this method is that the recipe turns one plant into 5 or more seedlings, so you can ramp up your production and outcome very quickly. As for now, if I'm not mistaken, we have 23 recipes in there, and these are used for buff foods and resources. Later in the game, you will unlock the recipe for fertilized farm soil with Emily. For that you need nitrate, and right now I don't think this kind of soil can be farmed. I believe it requires you to craft it. If you're playing on a server, you might not find a big reason to really upgrade it, because all it does is to reduce the time between harvests. That in itself is not so bad, but on servers you usually plant, go on adventures, and then you come back and everything is grown, even on normal dirt. If you want to mass produce though, and you have someone that wants to mainly take care of the plants, better soil might be nice to have for them. This might change in the future, in case the devs decide to give us more resources per harvest on better soil, and then you definitely want to have the better soil. Now my tips and tricks for planting. Use the rake or the better rake for making bigger farming spots. As the rake can multiply certain materials, farming soil and flower soil fall into that just as much as dirt. That way you save yourself from crafting a ton of farming soil and from awkwardly digging out the ground to replace it. Surround the farming area with stones or any solid border for a cleaner look. Make as many wells as you can as soon as you have access to them. That makes life a lot easier as you can keep up with the water requirements for crafting seedlings. Enable snapping on your plants for a cleaner look. You might fit in more when doing it manually, but it will also take 3 times as long. Things I would suggest to keep up with planting are sticks, bushes, especially when you're a ranger, and you need to craft arrows, trees for wood, and flax. All the flax. As much flax as you can. And then of course the vegetables, mushrooms and fruit that you need for your class's food buffs. look up what your main stat is that you want to boost, and then look up the food for it. A video exclusively about food buffs will be here on this channel as well, and if it's live, I'm going to link it in the end card of this video. And as I said, you don't need to farm, but these results speak for themselves. It saves you many hours of handpicking resources, and I'm fairly certain in the future it will be much more necessary. I hope this guide helped you, and if it did, consider subscribing, because I aim to reach 1000 subscribers by summer, so I would be happy if you want to be part of that journey. I will see you in the next video. Stay alive and thrive!